to share.
Go for it.
I I've been having problems with my iPhone uh and getting it to charge. I plug the cable in and
Mm-hmm.
the little battery at the top turns green and it instantly turns white again. So I take it out and put it back in upside down and the same thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, when I get it to stay green, I sit the phone down very carefully so as to not to jar it. And it just kept doing this. There were times when I'd fire it up the next morning and it wouldn't have charged overnight. So I thought, let me try see what Apple's got to say. So I went to their website and went to support and explained the problem on their email. And a screen came up uh, with a note on it to try one of these locations. It was a couple Best Buys, the Micro Center in Devon,
Mm-hmm.
and the Apple Store up at King of Prussia.
Mm-hmm.
So the closest place to me was the Best Buy at Downingtown. So
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on that, and a screen came up with uh, appointments on it. This was Tuesday. I did this. They had an appointment for yesterday at 12:20. So I signed up for that, showed up at 12:30, 12:20. I was sitting there in a chair waiting. And right at 12:20, a guy from the back comes out from the back. He says, iPhone with charging issue. And I said, that would be me. And I explained to him what was going on. And he said, well, let me go check something. And he went in the back 5 minutes later and he came back and he said it's working just fine now. He plugged the cable in and wiggled it all around and so forth. I said, oh, so what was the problem? And he says, well, you had a rather big, nasty dust bunny in there that was preventing it from making all kinds of contacts. So he cleaned that out and it's working fine. And I said, okay, so how much do I owe you? And he said, absolutely nothing. Apple will take care of it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
Perfect.
didn't have to pay a fee to Geek Squad or anything. Uh, Apple's evident because I went through them, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and made the appointment that way. Apple's
Mm-hmm.
taking care of whatever the fee would be. So that was a good deal.
That
And it's
was
working just
awesome.
fine. So keep your phone away from where you store your dust bunnies, and you shouldn't have any real problems like that.
That
I
was
guess
going to be my first question to you. Did you use some compressed air and clean out your
I don't have any around.
I have a
Okay.
can of
I was
dust
blowing in
off.
it and trying to see if I could get any dust or anything out of it. And I didn't want to stick any prober in there because I didn't know what good or bad that would do. And I don't have a clue what he did out in the back room. But it seems to be working just fine now. So if you have any issues like that, if it's an Apple phone, go to the Apple website. And if it's a Samsung, like Bob just got, I would say go to Samsung and see what they suggest that you do with it. So maybe you
Mm-hmm.
could get the repair done for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to do that instead of going to a you break it, I fix it store like you know, some people have done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it seemed to work out just fine. So I'll take it.
Yep. That's great. I'm glad it worked out that easy. I do like Apple support when I contact them. They're very helpful, either
All I
remote or
Yeah, all I
send
did
them.
was send them filled out a form on their website.
Mhm.
I didn't talk to anybody, or anything, no chat. Just, sent them an email on their form and the screen came up telling me to choose one of these places and go get it repaired. I said, okay. I know Gene's had good experience with Geek Squad, so I figured, all right, I'll give that a try and worked out fine.
Great. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but for anybody, the first thing if you have an experience like that is to try the cleaning out the thing. I do have compressed air at my church office, so if you ever need to stop by and use it, feel free. Um, the second thing is
Or I have a
trying,
can. Let me know too.
yeah, for
Okay.
the choir. Um, the other things you should try before having to contact people or go somewhere, try multiple cables, see if the cable is dead.
I did that. I tried 3 or 4
I
different cables.
figured you tried that.
I
And
have a bunch of them in different places, so I did try. I tried it in my car. I tried them up at Shirley's this past weekend with her cable, and that didn't solve the problem,
mhm,
unfortunately.
yep, yep. But sometimes, yeah, it's one end of the cable or the other. So
Yeah, I realized that, but that
I'm
wasn't
not
solved.
saying it for your benefit, just
Yeah.
uh, other tips and things. I'm sorry they're mowing outside for you. Probably overhearing some of that, but oh, good. Um, but yes, that's a good thing to note. And there are some phones and computers that default setting to charge up to 80% rather than charging all the way to the 100%. So
It didn't do
sometimes that
that
helps you,
because I
but
had at one time it was down at like 60% because it hadn't charged the night before. And I tried to charge it the next night, and the following morning it was still at 60 some percent because the dust bunny had pushed the charging cable out of the charging port. So
mhm,
they get a
yep,
little aggressive sometimes,
yep.
those dust bunnies.
That's also something to try with your computer ports. If you have a USB port that is not really working the way that it should be, or the headphone jack isn't the way it's used to be, use some compressed air and clean it out from time to time.
Oh, that could be helpful. I have a little box that adds USB ports. And a couple of them don't work.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So maybe
Yep.
I'll take my
That could
little
be it.
can of
Blow it
air
out,
and
Bob.
It could be added to your yearly cleaning things when you go around to do those things that you only have to do maybe once a year. Um,
Or if you put out some carrots to appease the
Get
dust
those dust bunnies.
bunnies.
Yeah, keep them happy. Yeah. Like I say, they get a little aggressive if you're not nice to them.
hmm TV parts are another one. If you need to use an HDMI port, but you never plug anything into an HDMI port on your TV, that could be one of the reasons why it's not working too. So, um, great tip though, Chuck. Thank you.
Just hope it keeps working.
who
Me
would have
too.
thought of putting air in a can and selling it?
I know. Maybe I'll put that on my Christmas list.
Hear that,
Hint,
Bev?
hint.
I
Yeah.
think we have one. I just don't know where it is. I bought one to clean out my flour sifter, and
Mm,
it unfortunately didn't work for that. But I
of course
think we
not.
have one somewhere in the basement. I just don't remember where I put it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing it, so I can't help you with that. So,
Just be sure it's air and not WD-40 or something like
yeah,
that.
I
it was
know where that
rare.
is. I know where
Yeah,
that can is, but
that
I,
probably would destroy your phone charging.
yeah, I think so.
Uh,
That's why I didn't try to go in there and probe with anything to clean,
mhm.
because I figured it was something in there that was causing the problem, but I wasn't totally sure how to get it out.
Well, and sometimes it's a software issue that they need to do a test too. So that would be the next step if the compressed air is not working. But good tips. Other questions, comments, concerns?
I'll stop sometime at your office, Lynn, because I missed the Merlin app
Mm,
event last week. So,
sounds good.
by the
Yeah,
way,
if
I'm not getting everybody's faces up on the bottom of my screen like normal.
We're not
weird. Well,
getting
we're
yours.
not
We're
seeing
not
your
getting
face
yours.
either.
So I don't know if I need to tap something.
Was there a, are you doing it on your phone, your tablet, or your computer?
My iPad.
your iPad. So that might be different. Sometimes if you swipe, you'll get the gallery view instead of the like speaker view. Yes?
I'm not getting any view. I'm just getting his name.
Well, no, that's something else. He's
Oh,
only
okay.
seeing the
Yeah, I'm
second
not, I
what?
swiped across the iPad, but nothing. All I
Nothing.
have is a figure, not my face, David Harrison, no one else on the bottom.
Does it have a like start video and mute button?
The mute button is off. Start video, yeah.
If you
I'll
hit
try.
that start video, then we'll
Okay,
see.
now
There
I'm
you
on.
are.
Hey, there you
David.
You
are.
are.
Yay.
Yay. I have to do that every single time I log into
Me
one of these
too.
meetings.
I
Mhm.
think I defaulted to not start your video so you can prepare yourself.
Okay.
Oh, is that what it is?
Thank you.
So you don't go and go, oh man.
Man, I look bad today.
Oh,
But some people don't want to be seen too.
Right,
Uh,
until they're perfectly coiffed.
Yeah.
right.
or they're driving or they're off doing other things that they can only listen. There are times I'm listening to a conversation as I make dinner and stuff because it's not important for them to see me on that Zoom call.
I have noticed that with the latest Zoom upgrade, when the speaker is speaking, that frame is outlined. It's
Mhm.
now in green.
Yes.
It used to be cream or yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it always was there, it's just a different color. They keep doing all these changes to us, but good problems. But yes, David, the Merlin app is pretty awesome. So we'll have to get you hooked up sometime.
Yeah, I've got the app. I just have to run through the whole process, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a big birder.
Nice.
You
The
will
bells
love
are
it.
nice. The bells are very familiar with it. I've never actually used the app, so
Cornell has a live webcam at their Sapsucker Woods, at their laboratory. And they have a huge bird table and about what, 4 or 5 hanging feeders. It's fun to see the various birds come in. There's water beyond, so there's some water related birds.
Mhm.
do you guys?
Scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
I
very
bet
scary
they're
to me.
auto signing you up for it. It's not like they want to a pop-up will come up and say opt into this, that it automatically starts doing it for you. So we're going to have to make a note on June 18th or whatever the date was to go in and learn how to shut it out.
Please.
Yeah.
So plan for that at that tech time. I'll have to find a PC.
Maybe you can convince Steven to not work that day.
That would be good. See if that can happen. If not, I'll grab one from the church. But yes. Expect to see AI more and more places, and as we talked about before, it's in Google search results and things now too.
I was speaking of that. I was looking up something yesterday. Google search. I wasn't going to a specific site.
Mm-hmm.
And I clicked on the first item. Then I realized there was an icon on it that looked like a Y, a capital Y. And I was wondering if that was AI or, and I don't remember what I was looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I clicked out of it and went to another website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could very possibly be that. Um, they do pop up that way for different things. So I'm trying to see. I mean, if you're looking up a word or a subject, sometimes it has the definition pop up for you or how to treat things, but yeah, it could be anything. I was reading something how the search of going to actual websites is over and it like autofilling that information for you and how it's hurting websites and people's it used to be very friendly to, websites that had the answers to the subject material like Webster's dictionary or Wikipedia or things like that that took you places and people aren't going to those sites anymore. So um it will auto be filled in for you on these search engines. So it's hurting some of those websites.
That's interesting.
Gene, you're muted.
Yeah, she can't find how to unmute.
We can show
I
everybody.
I don't know where I am now. I can't find anything.
Do you see at the bottom of your screen a green share button?
Go back.
No, I can't even.
Look at you.
Where do I want to go now, though?
Go to your browser. Yeah,
There
you
it
go.
is.
That
Quickly
actually
open.
looks like a website.
Yeah, I think maybe it is. This book, if any of you want a good read, it sounds like a really good read.
I like
uh,
James McBride. I like his books.
Yeah, and I went to the PBS website, or NPR, excuse me, NPR, their review. And he gave it a hugely high review. It's about, well, I'm not good at summarizing things. I never have been.
Asked is to look up your search history and then you can find that information. So at the most browsers, if you go over on the top right hand side of the screen, underneath that, yep, click on that thing, the three arrows, and there's a history button.
Oh,
And if you click on that, you can see the most recent history here, which is probably what you did. If you wanted to see your whole history from a couple days ago, you could click on that search history. Or maybe you had to restart your computer and you want to restore, your session from before. Oh, that's interesting. I've not seen that before. So you could search a term, say, and go, heaven and earth or whatever.
what would I do with that? In search, there's history.
Restore previous session would be, say your computer restarted unexpectedly and you wanted to pull up the document or the screens you had on before. If you hit that restore button, it will bring up all the tabs you had open originally.
Because I do, can you keep an unsafe number of tabs open for a long period of time?
You don't want to see my computer. I've got like 30 tabs open. I don't know if that's the right, I don't know. That's probably not a right number, but
a lot.
I have too many. It's like teeny. And I've been on screen, I've looked at computer screens for like our IT company, and they have even more than me. So no.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not something to be concerned about. But what is dangerous about your history is if you think somebody is going to go searching in your history and you want to hide that information, right? Like say you bought a Christmas gift and your loved one that you bought the Christmas gift is going to go see if they can find that information.
No, don't look, don't look.
or whatever that is. So you sometimes people clear their history for certain parts of the time, or if they're on sketchy websites.
Oops.
I'm not saying that's anything anyone on this group would do, but there is a way to clear your history if you're like, oh, that person shouldn't see that information. Not that anyone would go searching through the private history of anyone whose computer your screen.
But if you
But
get
if-
hacked or anything like that,
if-
clear recent history, will that, if I click on that, will it automatically
can-
clear everything?
Nope, it will select the times. So if you click on it, you
Okay.
can say just today. Or if you
Oh, I see.
click on today, you could say forever, the last hour, 2 hours,
Huh.
hours.
Oh,
And this also is a way to clear your cache and cookies, which I know we've talked about in the past. But those that don't remember, it's the ways that advertise track you on the internet. So you could just say clear cache and cookies and keep the history, and that will clear that information out.
I remembered there was a way to do that, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yep. So that's a way if you want to delete partial history. So
Delete what history?
partial history, like
Partial.
just the cache and cookies, but you wanted to keep like, oh, I was on these websites.
Might as well
Because
clear
it
now.
can be a like a journal of your internet history if you really wanted it to be. But
Hmm. Interesting.
helpful to know.
Yeah. Okay.
man,
Stop.
look at all those open